Born into the prestigious closer family, Jinadera seemed destined for a life of privilege, just like her siblings. However, as she grew, the family deemed her useless, incapable of summoning even a low-level spirit, and decided to expel her from the closer lineage. While wandering the streets, Jinadera was assassinated one night by agents of the very father she loved. Fortuitously, the most powerful mage in history, Pev Closer, appeared. She possessed Jinadera's body and began living as her, determined to train, regain her strength, and avenge the girl. What will Pev Closer's new life be like? Living in the frail body of a young girl, yet possessing the experience of centuries past, can Pev successfully take revenge on those within the family? Let's follow her on this arduous journey. The story begins with Jinadera Closer standing before a darkened room, a space as bleak as her own life. A stern voice announced, "I officially declare the commencement of the meeting regarding the expulsion of Jinadera Closer." At these words, a palpable fear washed over the girl's face. All the adults present hurled derogatory remarks at Jinadera. "This child is a disgrace to our family. We shouldn't have trusted that beggar from the start. I'm certain this child has no connection to the Closer bloodline. She's nothing but a waste, unable to summon even a low-level spirit, while Aquinas could summon intermediate-level spirits at the age of 10. Jinadera's heart sank. She could only lower her head and listen to their pronouncements. I was prepared to hear these words before coming in, but it's still uncomfortable no matter what. This is my last day here. The whispers continued, swirling around Jinadera. As we suspected, a useless child like that couldn't possibly be a descendant of the great Pev Closer. The judge, standing before the assembled family members, spoke solemnly. "It seems everyone has expressed their opinion. Therefore, Jinadera will be expelled, and her name will be stricken from the family registry. Those in agreement, raise your hands." Hands rose in unison, without a moment's hesitation. Witnessing their ruthlessness, Jinadera was heartbroken, yet she suppressed her emotions. "I can't cry. Father will hate me." But then, the last person she trusted raised his hand, agreeing to her expulsion from the family. Jinadera couldn't believe it. Even her father. After hearing everyone's opinions, the judge formally declared, "We have reached an absolute consensus. I pronounce that Jinadera is hereby expelled from the Closer family." Tears of heartbreak began to stream down Jinadera's cheeks. The judge didn't stop there, further decreeing, Jinadera will be stripped of the right to use the family name and title. The sky within her heart completely crumbled. Pev Closer, the founder of the Closer family, a legendary figure who established the renowned family of spirit mages. Thanks to the founder's divine blessing, those with Closer blood are spirit mages from birth. Those who inherit the Closer bloodline always possess unique physical traits and the ability to form contracts with spirits. Depending on the spirit's attributes, their hair and eye color change upon awakening. This generation of children was particularly gifted. The first child had already formed a contract with a fire spirit. The second and fourth children had formed contracts with wind and water spirits, respectively. Everyone except me, Jinadera, the third child of this generation. Upon learning of his older sister's expulsion, Jinadera's younger brother came running to taunt her. "Serves you right." The girl turned, addressing him by the affectionate name, Aquinas, but he sneered at her. "Don't address me so casually. You're no longer a member of the Closer family. It's such a relief not having to call you sister anymore." As he spoke, he used his powers to splash water in Jinadera's face. "This is my parting gift. Oh, and one more thing. Be careful when you leave the house." Confused by her brother's warning, she asked, "What do you mean?" Aquinas, with a sinister look, revealed a secret to Jinadera. "I've never heard of anyone who lost the Closer name. Farewell, Guinevere." On a cold, dark night, Jinadera finally left the Closer estate. Standing outside, she gazed longingly within. "They really kicked me out. I wanted to say goodbye to Father." Tears of sorrow welled up in Jinadera's eyes. But after a few seconds, she forced herself to shake off her grief and pull herself together. "No, I'm no longer a Closer. What am I going to do to survive?" Jinadera walked away, her thoughts a chaotic jumble. After walking for a while, she noticed a small stream ahead. She ran to the water's edge and stared at her reflection. Pale hair and eyes, a useless 11-year-old girl who couldn't even summon a low-level spirit. Lost in thought, Jinadera suddenly remembered something. She hurriedly sat down and rummaged through the small bag. She she carried. Food. Food. She had expected some sort of delicacy, but it was just a small potato. Yet, it was enough to warm Jinadera's heart. A potato? It gave me my favorite. Suddenly, a squirrel scurried down from a tree. Seeing it, Jinadera turned and began to speak to it. So cute. Are you hungry? Do you want to eat with me? She broke off a small piece of the potato and offered it to the squirrel. Seeing it eat with relish, Jinadera felt a surge of happiness. That's right. There's nothing to be afraid of. I shouldn't worry so much. Anywhere is fine. Just keep moving forward. The squirrel startled, staring at Jinadera as if it had noticed something. Curious, she asked, "What's wrong? Don't you like potatoes? Is there someone behind me?" As she spoke, Jinadera turned around to check. Suddenly, a hand reached out from nowhere and mercilessly shoved Jinadera into the stream, showing no mercy. "I told you it's best to be careful. Someone like you doesn't deserve the closer name." As she was submerged in the water, Jinadera managed to open her eyes and look closely. Two figures. She struggled to keep her eyes open with the last of her strength, trying to see clearly. Father, henchmen. Having completed their task, the two turned and walked away. Jinadera gave up, resigned to her fate. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. It's all the same out here. The girl closed her eyes, her tears mingling with the stream water. Maybe it's better that this happened sooner. I can die as a closer. Memories of living in the closer estate suddenly flooded Jinadera's mind. If I wasn't so useless, I could have. If only I hadn't been abandoned. This is a fitting end for someone useless, isn't it? Jinadera's hands began to loosen, losing all feeling, her body sinking deeper and deeper into the riverbed. Suddenly, Jinadera felt something strange happening to her body. What? Suddenly, my body is starting to move, as if someone is controlling my every action. What's happening? Pev Closer, the most powerful spirit mage in history, representing an era of spirits, possessing immense power recognized by the Spirit King himself, had severed all ties with the world 150 years ago and liberated herself from her physical body. Because of this, she became a part of the world, or so it should have been. But after reaching the bank, Ginny hurriedly wrung out her clothes and flicked the water off her hands. When the world just happened, Ginny looked at her reflection in the stream and thought, did I reincarnate? No, if that were the case, I should have lost all my memories and started over. Let me see this body's memories. Jinadera will be expelled, and her name will be removed from the family registry. I've never heard of anyone losing the closer name. What am I going to do to survive now? This is a fitting end for someone useless like me, isn't it? After reviewing all of Jinadera's painful memories, Pev, living as Jinadera, was filled with indignation for the girl. These bastards dared to torture and assassinate a weak child just because she has no power. This is unacceptable, Pev shouted. I, the founder of the Closer family, Pev Closer, will punish you. First, I will deprive you of the spirit's protection. They prided themselves on it, but nothing special happened. Pev was utterly perplexed. What? Why me? On a tranquil night, bathed in the soft glow of the moon, Pev sat by a stream, lost in thought. Indeed, this frail, diminutive body doesn't possess enough mana to wield high-level magic. The next morning, a shocking piece of news spread like wildfire throughout the town. Hey, did you hear? I heard the Closer family mansion caught fire last night. Everyone who heard gasped. What? What? I heard a silver candlestick in the cellar was knocked over. If that's the case, no one would notice a thing or two missing. Now living under the guise of Genevieve, Pev gazed longingly at a candy stall. It looks delicious. She quickly pointed and said to the shopkeeper, give me a piece of chocolate. Nibbling on the sweet, Pev admired the city of Crowvatty. The city hasn't changed a bit. I'm glad I had enough magic to sneak into the mansion. If anything is missing, they'll probably blame it on the fire. Now I need to focus on increasing my mana, but practicing the old way is too time-consuming, and traditional methods aren't suitable for me. If that's the case, then the only option is money. The ultimate elixir for boosting mana, Dragonstone, also known as the Dragon's Heart. Pev stopped in front of a shop by the street, and the easiest place to find it is she tugged on a rope, ringing the doorbell. She called for the shopkeeper. After a long wait, a large hand slammed down on the counter. Finally, the shopkeeper appeared. "What is it, little girl?" Pev quickly replied. "I'm here for the auction." He looked down at her with disdain. "This isn't a place for just anyone, you know? Why don't you go home before you cause any trouble?" Incensed by his haughty attitude, Pev glared and retorted, "Hey, doorman, do I look like a child?" Startled by Pev's fierce expression, the man faltered. "Looks like a child, but what's with this terrifying aura?" He had no choice but to lead Pev inside. "I'll show you in. Follow me." The hallway was filled with other guests attending today's auction. Pev approached a counter inside the shop. Upon seeing her, the clerk greeted her warmly. "Welcome, honored guest." Pev placed all her jewelry on the counter. "I'd like to sell these." The clerk quickly picked up the jewels to examine them. Meanwhile, Pev seized the opportunity to ask, "I heard there will be some special items today." Hearing this, he asked in return, "Are you referring to the sword used by the great spirit mage, Volika?" Pev leaned in closer. She gasped, surprised at the mention of great spirit mage. He continued matter-of-factly, "Yes, somehow, it keeps finding its way back here." After examining the jewelry for a moment, the clerk carefully asked her opinion. "These items are all of high quality. How much would you like to sell them all for?" Without hesitation, Pev immediately set the price. 5 million. He confirmed again, "Excuse me, are you sure about such a low price?" Pev nodded firmly. "Yes, consider the excess amount as commission." The transaction was successfully completed. "Very well, as you wish." He handed Pev a ticket and announced, "Welcome to the auction. Please enjoy your time." As Pev busied herself with her next plan, a suspicious-looking man, cloaked and completely covered, suddenly appeared nearby. He stared intently at Pev, seemingly with some purpose. With her sharp intuition, she quickly sensed someone watching her and immediately turned to look. But she found nothing out of the ordinary. "I think I'm being watched. Or maybe it's just my imagination." The man quickly ducked into another corner to avoid being seen. "I knew it. It really is her. That's right. This feeling can't be wrong. Why have you appeared again?" "Pev, shut your..." "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for waiting. The Clodal Branch Summit auction will now officially begin." The auctioneer, unveiling the cloth covering the first item, began his spiel. "This sword belonged to Lord Werka, companion of the great spirit mage, Pev Closer, imbued with potent dragon magic. It is said to possess unparalleled power. This item has returned to the auction house numerous times, its true master yet to be found. It's quite a beautiful piece, isn't it?" The stone embedded in the hilt radiates a captivating luminescence. The auctioneer continued, working the crowd. "Could the true owner of this short sword be among you today?" As he presented the sword, Jinadera, now inhabited by Pev, sat in the audience, thinking to herself, "Astonishing. That damned Werka. Who could possibly tame that troublesome sword? No wonder it keeps returning to auction." The auctioneer called for bids. Starting price, 10,000. Jinadera swiftly raised her paddle. The starting bid was 10,000, but she boldly declared 5 million. At this price, she thought, it's unlikely anyone will compete. Once this troublesome sword is in my hands, I can manage it properly. Night began to fall over the small town. As expected, Jinadera left with the sword. Walking down the street, she muttered to herself, "They call me the Great Spirit Mage. Isn't there a more appealing moniker? Well, I'll ponder that later." Jinadera glanced around, then pulled the sword from its bag. The half-dragon's heart, just a small fragment, but enough to bolster my power. With that, she reached out and plucked the stone from the sword's hilt. The more she looked at it, the more captivating it became. "This is definitely something extraordinary." Jinadera held the stone aloft, admiring it for a moment. "Now, let's see how much power I can glean from this windfall." Jinadera promptly swallowed the stone. Quickly, it began to react. "This magic is wild, just like its owner's personality. The best thing I can do right now is not suppress it. There's no magic in this world that can overpower my soul. I just need to be patient, and it will soon be mine." Indeed, Jinadera absorbed the stone's power effortlessly. "Excellent. I'm at least a mid-level mage now." She hadn't even finished speaking when a voice suddenly called out from behind her. Startled, Jinadera lost her balance and tumbled to the street. "This fellow looks like a ninja, wrapped in a tight scarf, making him difficult to identify." She recognized him as the individual who had been present at the auction. "He's been concealing his presence. There's no way I wouldn't have noticed him otherwise. How careless of me." Jinadera watched him warily, sizing him up. He looked strong. There's no doubt about that. The man said nothing, but abruptly removed the scarf covering his head and declared loudly, It's me, Werka. Long time no see." This action caught Jinadera completely off guard. Werka, a mage with half-dragon blood, was the only officially active archmage in the kingdom. 150 years ago, he was one of 3 who served under Pev Closer. Besides him, there was the genius swordsman, Aaron, the King's Sword, and Pev Closer's elven friend, Celestius, Werka, as her disciple. Despite possessing a fiery and dangerous nature like a dragon, had always maintained unwavering loyalty to Pev Closer. Werka slowly approached Jinadera and helped her to her feet. "Oh, I can't believe I get to see Master again. You haven't changed a bit, have you? Why are you in a child's body? Is it really you, Master? This isn't a dream, is it? What a foolish question. Whose soul do you think is more powerful than your master's? Indeed, who else could absorb the half-dragon's heart like it was nothing? Can I pinch your cheeks? This guy is really going to drive me insane. Acknowledge your place. Don't get so worked up." Jinadera looked as if she wanted to bite him. Seeing his master's annoyance, he gently set her down. "You're so cold, Master. 150 years, and this is how you greet your beloved disciple. By the way, what happened?" Werka asked. "I don't know either." "Oh, so you want me to guess?" "No, I truly don't know. I mean, it's not that I don't want to tell you." Hearing this, Werka stared blankly, a dumbfounded grin spreading across his face. "Even Master doesn't know? The binding spell you cast upon your soul, the one meant to control and suppress that power, it still exists. Or perhaps you didn't want to die, so you transferred your soul without telling me." "What are you talking about?" "Pev, you fear death and use dark magic like soul transference? Speak such nonsense again, and I'll shut you up myself. Then why are you in the body of such a frail girl?" This guy kept questioning even after being told she didn't know. It was truly frustrating. "Well then, should we investigate this first, Master?" Investigating the source seemed important, but first, Genevieve, formerly Jinadera, now inhabited by Pev, had things to do. When asked, she only said it was temporarily called revenge. Such shameful and humiliating events within the Closer family are unacceptable. The power I bestowed upon them, along with their honor and pride. I swear, I will seize it all, not even allowing them to beg for their lives. Hearing this, Werka spoke up. "I don't know the details, but I will forever obey your will, Master. So, tell me what I should do." "No, I will handle this personally. I will take revenge with my own hands." Using this girl's body, Werka asked earnestly, "Then where are we going now? My magic is insufficient. I need more potions and artifacts." The more he listened to Genevieve speak, the more bewildered Werka became. "I need to punish those fools as soon as possible. I'm leaving, and you should too. I'll contact you after I'm done." Any handsome man would look as cool as this guy, at least in Werka's eyes. Before his master finished speaking, he interrupted, calling out to his master to turn around, then slowly walked towards her. "Are you leaving just like that? We haven't seen each other in so long. Can't you stay with me a little longer?" Werka said with a sorrowful, quiet expression. "Do you know how much I yearn to see you again? Even just once for the past 150 years. It's been 150 years, Master. For you, it's just a blink of an eye. But for me, it's different." Werka's words surprised Genevieve. She hadn't expected him to wait for her for so long. Werka continued, his voice choked with emotion. "I won't keep you long. Just being by your side for a moment is enough." The atmosphere between the two became awkward. Genevieve realized her reaction had hurt him. To soothe Werka's fragile heart, she gently held his hand and apologized with sincerity. She said, "I was neglecting your feelings. Can I hug this foolish master with such sparkling white eyes? Who could stay angry any longer?" Werka quickly embraced his master, deeply moved by her acknowledgement of his sincerity. But it seemed the height difference was a bit much, so it looked like an older brother hugging his younger sister. Genevieve patted Werka's shoulder gently to comfort him. "Have you become such a spoiled child since I left? You can travel with me if you wish. You cannot interfere with my revenge, but being by my side is not a problem." Genevieve said this as if paving the way for a deer to run. Werka's tears immediately stopped flowing. At first, he laughed excitedly and happily, like a child whose mother had just agreed to buy him candy. But the more he laughed, the more dreadful his voice became. Genevieve immediately began to lecture her disrespectful student. "What in the world are you plotting in your belly? Be quiet." Werka came up with the idea of finding food, both to fill their stomachs and to please his master. "Let's find something to eat together. We can talk about parting ways later." But Genevieve was already annoyed, so he gave up. But Valika knew his adorable little master's personality all too well. "Surely you want to know how many new flavors of chocolate have come out since you've been gone," he coaxed. This, however, wasn't enough to appease her. and he had to press his attack. Lately, the crawling candies from Bald have been all the rage. They have honey syrup and are coated in a generous amount of chocolate. Plus, they're quite special thanks to the fresh mint flavor combined with the bittersweet taste of cherry grenadilla. Ginadera seemed to waver slightly. Oh, that does sound good. Following up, a string of words further piqued his master's appetite. Recently, I collaborated with a dessert distributor and received some new samples, but I have too much in stock, so it's a bit difficult to handle. What do you think, Master? I'll set some aside for you to taste and evaluate. Finally, Ginadera succumbed to the temptation of food. Since you put it that way, how can I refuse? Let's go and have a look. Valaka was delighted that his persuasion had worked. Hooray, you've done me a great favor. But his master wasn't finished. I'm only staying for a day, though. But that was enough for a student. I know you're busy. All right, let's go. We don't have much time. Since you're my master, I'll prepare a special seat for you. Hearing this, Ginadera just sighed in exasperation. Honestly, you're all talk. The two finally arrived at Valaka's home to enjoy the delicacies. Here, the master was treated to the disciples' enthusiastic hospitality. Master, try this one too. All right, truly a chocolate connoisseur. Ginadera tasted the chocolates with a professional air and carefully gave her evaluations. This nougat has a pleasant mouth feel, but the white chocolate coating is a bit too sweet. Oh, how about this one? Let me see. Without needing another bite, she knew this cake's flaw. There's not enough butter in the coating. This made Valaka immensely proud to have such a master. As expected, a master. Even professionals are impressed by you. Master, how about this one? Each one received Ginadera's appraisal. Everything is quite exquisite. However, the chocolate was delicious, but she seemed to have forgotten something. Valaka immediately asked, "Forgotten what?" Her master's reply was, "The purpose of my coming to Cloborder was to gather elixirs and enhance my magic power, but I'm still near Crovati." But Valaka didn't understand the meaning of these words. "What are you talking about, master?" "We're not there anymore." This time it was Ginadera's turn to ask in confusion, "What do you mean?" He innocently replied, "We're in the capital, Copernicus, about 3,000 kilometers away, master." Ginadera was stunned. "My goodness, that far. This guy is half-dragon, so he can travel long distances. How could she forget this?" Seeing her master's displeased expression, Lisa said, "It will be difficult to return to Crovati, especially in a child's body. Do you need my help? Today has been tiring enough for Sukin." "It's all right, I have a plan, but not today. I'm exhausted." For a hospitable person like Valaka, it was an honor that his master could stay. "Let me take you to the bedroom. I've already prepared a room for you. We can go up now." But before he finished speaking, Guillermo had already fallen asleep. Seeing that his master didn't respond, the disciple approached to check the situation, and he could only sigh helplessly. "Oh, did you fall asleep? This little master is really too easy to feed and take care of." Valaka transformed into a warm young man, carrying Ginadera to her room to rest. "Let's go. Good night, master." Soon, morning arrived, and little Ginadera was already awake, coming to call her lazy student. "Look at what time it is. It's so late. You woke up late on purpose, didn't you?" Valaka replied sleepily. "Think about the condition of your body right now, master. Children need plenty of sleep, you know." But none of these words reached his master's ears. "Stop making excuses. I don't have time. I have to go now." Hearing that his master had to leave, Werka remembered the items he had prepared for her. "All right, master. I prepared this for you. Carry it with you." Werka presented a pack to Genevieve. "I put everything you'll need inside." Genevieve, surprised by her former disciple's thoughtfulness, asked, "When did you prepare this?" Werka smiled. "I just wanted to do something for my long-lost master. If you prefer, I could also accompany you. What do you think?" "Forget about the master bit," Genevieve said dismissively. "Oh, speaking of family, how is Sal these days?" she asked, referring to Salbadus. "How would I know?" Werka replied, a touch of hurt in his voice. Genevieve's expression darkened. "I told you to get along, even when I wasn't around." "Well," Werka muttered, "I suppose I haven't exactly made amends. I don't want anything to do with that gloomy elf. He's probably off in some corner conducting some dreadful experiment right now." Werka paused. "Well, I suppose I've just contradicted myself. You said you were busy, yet you have time to lecture me." Genevieve simply replied, "Indeed." "Well then, I'll be going. If anything comes up, contact me by carrier pigeon." Valaka, overhearing, quipped, "I wonder which of us will be the one getting into trouble." Despite his light-hearted words, Valaka's concern for Genevieve was evident. "Master, be careful on your journey." And with that, Genevieve began her journey back to her homeland. Her small frame, alone on such a long road, what hardships would she face? As she walked, a faint voice suddenly called out, "Stop, stop." The voice was undeniably familiar. Valaka, walking behind Guinevere, stopped short and cried out in surprise, "Master!" But Guinevere signaled for silence. "Quiet, Valaka." The voice continued to echo in her ears. "You can't go. Please." Accompanied by the voice, the figure of Pev Closer materialized before Guinevere. Those familiar eyes. Pev Closer spoke softly. "It's you, Winifred. I've been wanting to see you." Seeing Pev Closer reborn, Guinevere couldn't help but burst into tears. "Please, I beg you. My family begs you. Don't punish my father." Pev gently comforted her. "Calm down, Winifred. Nothing has happened yet." Her voice warm and soothing, she asked, "Do you know who I am?" Choking back sobs, Guinevere wiped her tears. "Yes, you are Lady Pev, the founder of the Closer family." Pev nodded. "I wasn't aware of your presence, so I was a little surprised to hear your voice. I apologize for making all the decisions on my own." "I see. I'm glad your consciousness still exists. I'll return this body to you now." But contrary to Pev's expectations, Guinevere made a surprising decision. "No, I'm fine. Please continue to use this body," she said with a sincere look, her words unexpected. "If you wish, please continue to use my body. If you tire of it, then discard it. Someone as incompetent as me couldn't possibly be a suitable vessel for you." Each word from Guinevere was heartbreaking, and Pev was no exception. "What are you saying, Winifred? Where are you weak?" "In the memories I inherited from you, I didn't see any weakness, not a single bit. For such a brave and admirable child to suffer so much." Pev's voice choked with emotion. "Truly, Winifred, I swear in the name of the Closer ancestors, you are not worthless." Every word Pev spoke to Winifred was like a bomb, and the young girl blushed slightly. Guinevere started, but Pev cut her off. To label a child as useless and then kill them. To do such a thing to such a lovely child. Winifred, only those who selfishly judge and hurt others are the incompetent ones. Winifred's confidence was bolstered by these words, but she still replied humbly, "That's not true." The young girl choked back a sob. "My father wouldn't. I don't want to go back, and I don't want to hold a grudge. I believe my father isn't the kind of person who would do such things." But there was a truth only Pev knew. "You know, Winifred, when you sank into the lake, I saw all of your memories. Those long, endless days, the sleepless nights filled with tears, the memories of fear, loneliness, and pain. So, I understand your true feelings best." The girl's eyes burned with a fierce intensity, a newfound resolve hardening her gaze. "Winifred," Pev Closer said, her voice soft yet firm, "you don't have to force yourself anymore." Having glimpsed Guinevere's painful past, this was all Pev wanted to convey to the tormented soul before her. But it was this brutal honesty that finally forced the young Guinevere, who had always deceived herself, to confront the harsh reality. "Lady Pev," she choked out, tears welling in her eyes, "did Joe truly want me dead? Was it because I am worthless? I just wanted to be a part of the Closer family. Even if I was considered incompetent, useless, hated, I still wanted to belong." Pev embraced the small figure before her, offering comfort like a mother would. "I told you, didn't I, Guinevere? You're not worthless. Isn't my acknowledgement enough?" Guinevere, her voice thick with emotion, asked, "There's something I need to ask you." "You can ask me anything," Pev replied gently. "Please tell me. I want to know the truth. Did my family truly want me dead? Did Joe really want to kill me?" Lady Pev etched the girl's desperate plea into her memory. "I understand." A sense of relief washed over Guinevere, having received a response from the founder of her family. "Thank you," she whispered. Suddenly, a loud voice echoed repeatedly in her ears. "Master, can you hear me? Master." It was then, abruptly, that Guinevere snapped back to the present. Standing before her now was Valaka. "Master, are you all right? You suddenly stood there, completely still. I called out to you, but you didn't respond. What happened?" Guinevere's next words startled him. "The owner of this body, she's still alive, somewhere within my subconscious. The little girl, let me do something. I have to bring clarity to Winifred's death." Valaka was bewildered by his master's words. "I don't understand what you're saying." Seeing the confused expression on Valaka's face, Guinevere remembered. Oh, I haven't explained it to you yet. In short, when I woke up in this body. And so began the long journey of explaining the entire story to Valaka from beginning to end so that he could understand. After listening, Valaka was filled with indignation. Those savages still exist? In what era are they living? They should be eradicated. His master cautioned him, keep your voice down. What if the little girl hears you? Regardless, we have to find a way to uncover the truth. The master and disciple began brainstorming, like detectives searching for clues. But after a long period of contemplation, neither spoke a word. Suddenly, Valaka exclaimed, "Aha, that's it." An idea had struck him, and he immediately informed his master. "Master, I just thought of a brilliant plan. Actually, the Closer family contacted me before." Guinevere listened intently. As Pev Closer's disciple, my reputation is quite considerable, isn't it? If it's the family you speak of, I have no reason to refuse. I've been laundering money on the black market, and these jewels were stolen from the Closer family. So, let's make both the time and place work in our favor. I'll have the head of the family bring a box of chocolates as a gift. After listening to her disciple's plan, Guinevere inquired, "Then what excuse are you going to use to summon him?" This was the flaw in Valaka's plan. "I'm trying to brainstorm, but what plausible reason could I possibly have to sit at the same table with the head of the Closer family?" Looking at Valaka's sly expression, she knew he was up to no good. "What are you planning to do?" Valaka replied smugly, "You won't be angry with me, will you, master? Tell me, but you have to promise me you won't get mad. If you like sophistry, promise me." Unwilling to waste any more time, Guinevere reluctantly agreed. "Fine, I won't be angry. Let's hear it." Valaka's plan was, "Be my daughter, master." It was a preposterous idea. Guinevere was taken aback. "Daughter? What nonsense are you talking about?" This made Valaka apprehensive. "Master, you promised you wouldn't be angry." However, Guinevere flatly refused. "If I have to choose, I'd rather be a servant, wouldn't I?" Valaka was dissatisfied. "Master, do you think I would make a child a servant?" Then Guinevere proposed another solution. "Then we just need to change my appearance. Even if the head of the Closer family isn't some great figure, he's still a descendant who inherited your spiritual power, master. He'll see through such a cheap disguise. No one understands the Sherpa elves' spiritual perception and sharp intuition better than you. In this situation, magic is useless. Will be exposed immediately. Think about it. This is a difficult problem because it will affect the owner of this body, especially Ginadera's life." Just then, Valaka asked, "Master Pev, do you still want to be a servant?" Hearing this, Pev hesitated. Is that her only wish? Valaka nodded, continuing his persuasion. "You only need to pretend for a while, not a lifetime. Why are you acting like a child? Is this the extent of your resolve? Where's your conscience?" Finally, Pev agreed. Furthermore, if that were the case, Valaka thought it would be better for his master to become his biological daughter rather than his adopted daughter. Pev told him to do as he pleased. In fact, Valaka had already carefully considered the possibilities and solutions related to this plan. "The most important thing is that you must act naturally like my daughter, master. The first thing you should do is..." At this point, Pev couldn't help but feel nervous. Valaka immediately said, "Practice how to talk to me." "And your attitude." This made Pev panic. "You're talking nonsense." Despite being scolded, Valaka still pleaded with a smile. "You won't treat me as a disciple in public, will you? Come on, master. Call me father." But Pev ignored Valaka's request, which continued for more than 2 hours, making him a little disappointed. "Is it so hard to call me father?" Since Pev couldn't bring himself to say it, Valaka teased him. "It seems that the genius magician Pev Closer, who defeated the dragon, only has this much resolve." This made Pev angry. "Don't get too cocky, Valaka." Pev's concern was, how long will the preparations take? But Valaka affirmed that it wouldn't take too long, which made Pev even more curious. "What crazy plan are you thinking of?" The way you guide and direct the steps is also important. In addition, Valaka had something else to say to Pev. "How much should I help you?" But Pev didn't understand. Valaka said, "I can see through all your plans and thoughts. You want to destroy the Closer family with your own hands, right? It's too reckless to judge them solely based on Ginadera's magic power. In other words, what you need most now is a large amount of elixir to enhance your magic power. Why not try using the fragments of my heart? Hasn't my heart already been split many times? Are you planning to drain my power?" But Valaka didn't mean that. "I didn't say I would use new fragments of my heart. Guess what the fragments I shared are? Items containing fragments of my heart are being sold at high prices on the market. I've kept them intact until now, but if we gather them all and absorb the heart fragments, that immense magical power will be very useful to you. However, if you don't like this idea, I'll look for other types of elixirs. Mandrake and sea monster hearts are on the trading list during this time. But Pev refused. I don't want you to waste these precious items on me. All right, I'll use your heart. If those other items are left, then the black market is probably where they'll end up. Is there anything else I need to know? Valaka thought for a moment, then said, nothing in particular. As he spoke, he recorded it with magic. Tell me, Master, before you have a fixed schedule, what do you plan to do? Is there anything you want to do? Like something you're interested in? Pev thought for a moment and replied, I'm just curious to see how much the world has changed while I was away. But before he could finish, Valaka said excitedly, how about I take you sightseeing? Pev was startled. I have a lot of work to do. Besides, there's nothing much to see in Copernicus, is there? I bet you don't know how much Copernicus has changed. Quiet places have been chosen to build mansions, and the towns are very lively. Come on, it'll be fun. Aren't you curious? However, Pev only wanted to go alone. This hurt Valaka's feelings. Don't be so cruel. Do you think I just want to take you out to play? The sooner we prepare, the better. If people see us together in the city, rumors will spread quickly. Wouldn't it? Valaka said, tugging Genevieve along. Then it's settled. Let's hurry out. Any unfinished business can wait until tomorrow. But before we leave, we must do this. Transformation was key. In a blink, Pev Closer shifted into a new form. Pev still seemed a little bewildered, while Valaka couldn't contain his excitement. Do you like it? Now we look even more like father and daughter. Hearing this, Pev thought, what's so fun about this? Still, it doesn't hurt to go out for a bit. Finally, they set off. They entered an exceedingly luxurious restaurant. The dishes served were both delectable and exquisitely presented. Valaka announced, I've ordered all these dishes just for you, my little one. Come on, Christian. Have a taste. Meanwhile, Pev could hardly believe it. Was this the real reason we came out? Genevieve, within Pev's mind, cursed inwardly. That damned Valaka, he's a good actor. Finally, Genevieve joined the performance, playing along with Valaka. Thank you for the treat. She picked up a croissant and inhaled its aroma. Then, she took a delicate bite. The taste was astonishing. The ganache coating the croissant melted evenly in her mouth, releasing a rich, buttery fragrance. It was the most delicious thing Pev had ever tasted. Seeing Pev so delighted, Valaka couldn't help but chuckle with satisfaction. However, the surrounding gazes were all fixed on them. Though Valaka had anticipated this, we really are the center of attention here. This is good. Pay attention to me, Valaka. Since I brought a child with me, let the rumors spread as far as they can. This was precisely Valaka's goal. Christian, drink more milk. After the meal, Valaka wanted to take Pev to another location. There's something interesting here. But Pev immediately felt uneasy, a sense of foreboding based on magical telepathy. Valaka smiled smugly. Be patient. You'll understand when we get there. I'm so excited. Finally, they arrived at the studio of an artist whom Valaka had been wholeheartedly supporting financially. Before entering, Valaka flung open the door with great flourish, and Pev, startled, couldn't help but gasp. She saw the room filled with portraits of herself. How could these portraits have been painted so well 150 years ago? What's the reason behind this? What are you planning to do with them? While Pev was fuming inwardly, Valaka answered with a pout. They were made to serve my purpose. Just then, a voice called out, You've arrived, Mr. Valaka. It's rare to see you bring anyone other than Lady Rania. You didn't inform me of your arrival. What brings you here? As soon as he finished speaking, he clumsily tripped. This was why Valaka always told him to clean the place. He asked with concern, Are you all right? Did you hurt your hand? He then introduced himself to the girl. Hello, my name is Grant Millard. Pev replied politely. I'm a painter sponsored by Mr. Valaka. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Millard. Valaka added, Allow me to introduce Christian, my daughter. She looks just like me, doesn't she? At this, Millard couldn't help but look bewildered. Your daughter? Your actual daughter? Of course. Did you think I would suddenly invite someone unrelated to accompany me? Oh, right. Congratulations, Mr. Valaka. This young lady does bear a striking resemblance to you, exuding an air of elegance and nobility. Hearing this, Valaka laughed heartily. Millard added, The more I look, the more she resembles you. Especially those sparkling amber eyes, just like... He didn't finish his sentence. Millard abruptly stopped, which piqued Pev's curiosity, as he had been staring for too long. Valaka quickly shielded his daughter, which made him flustered. Excuse me, may I ask what brings you here today, Mr. Valaka? I intend to have a portrait painted of my daughter. Can we begin right away? Certainly, right away. Just a moment. I'll be ready shortly. Having arranged everything, Millard brought out a stool and invited the girl to sit. He also guided her in adjusting her posture. Please relax. I can sketch from memory. Just need a glance. Don't mind me. With that said, Millard began sketching with intense concentration. Millard finished quickly, which made Pev even more excited. Millard showed his sketch to the girl. I've done my best, though it's not yet perfect. Although the painting was incomplete, Pev could truly feel the charm it possessed. Receiving Pev's praise, Millard was somewhat modest. It's just a sketch. But Pev noticed something different about the painting. Why are only the eyes colored? Is this part of the final form of the painting? No. At this stage, I haven't decided on the coloring yet. Perhaps I shouldn't color it exactly as I see it in reality. It means some things appear transparent to my eyes. Hearing this, Pev smiled. I'm really looking forward to the final product. Millard nodded, promising to finish it as soon as possible and send it to you. Suddenly, Millard remembered something. Mr. Valika, since this is a request outside of the contract, I'll receive a separate payment, correct? Hearing this, Valika agreed and told him to name his price. He would pay him handsomely so he could paint several more. Millard immediately lowered his head in acceptance. Please leave it to me. But seeing this gesture, Valika understood. You're suddenly so polite because this conversation involves money, right? You're making me blush. Afterward, Valika and Pev left. Well then, we'll be going. Thank you for your hard work, Millard. Finally, only Millard remained. Then, he unexpectedly looked at the portraits hanging on the wall, carefully observing them. Although the girl strongly resembled Mr. Valika, a few points aroused Millard's suspicion. Those eyes are exactly the same as that lady's eyes. I paint often. Meanwhile, Valika, unable to contain his excitement, continued to invite Pev to clothing stores, making her utterly weary of this man who was always cheerful and boisterous. Later, they returned. Pev hadn't realized it had gotten so late. Valika said, You certainly didn't notice that we've already been to 6 clothing stores, right? These are all the clothes you'll need when you're with me. Besides, the more places we go, the faster the rumors will spread, right? Looking out the window, Pev couldn't help but be curious. What's that? Ah, that's the Cuprum Observatory. The most remarkable thing about this observatory is its name. Actually, it's the private property of a nouveau riche. Many tourists come here to visit because it looks magnificent and grand, but there's nothing much to see inside. Then, Valika asked, Would you like to go and see it, closer? But the girl didn't want to go. Even if it was a famous tourist spot, it wasn't worth seeing. Suddenly, Pev heard a voice, a very familiar voice. It was Genevieve's voice. Everything is sparkling. So beautiful. At this moment, Pev truly understood. I see. She's been confined to the mansion. So this might be the first time she's seen such a sight. Not just the observatory, but the warm human touch of a city. In the afternoon, Pev suddenly left the dining table, which puzzled Valika. What's wrong? Master Pev immediately said, Let's go to the Cuprum Observatory. Arriving there, although Pev couldn't accept having to pay extra to go to the top floor, in return, the view here is quite good. Valika chuckled. Do you like it? From here, we can see everything. Indeed, Pev felt very happy. Besides, Genevieve couldn't help but be moved. The view from up here is even more beautiful. Pev then said, It's too early to be surprised now, Genevieve. There are many more beautiful places in this world. Do you know how bright the night view of Regia, the capital, is? Or overlooking the royal palace from the magic tower. The magnificent view is breathtaking, so brilliant and naked I can't fully capture it. Ladies in gorgeous attire stroll through the plaza, while workers transport massive quantities of goods all day long. You can feel the tireless energy of the people living in this city, permeating every layer of your skin. Hearing this, Genevieve was astonished. Genevieve, wouldn't you like to witness the brilliance of Regia at night with your own eyes? Not just the capital or other cities. I want to show you all the beautiful places in the world. Pev was determined to make this happen. However, the girl wondered, Why are you doing so much for me? Pev answered without hesitation, Because I want to. You are someone who deserves beautiful things. Every time I see your memories, I always think that you are a child who shines brighter than any light, a child I want to embrace, the loveliest and most charming child in the world. Genevieve, I said I would grant all your wishes, right? There's one wish I hope you can grant me, and it's welling up in my heart. Can you listen? It's It's that I wish to embrace you once, even just once, when everything is over. No, even before that. When you return to your original body, let me embrace you, okay? Hearing this, Guinevere couldn't help but be moved. You're so mysterious, honored ancestor. I don't think you gain anything from it. Are you really content with just that? Compared to my requests, this is a very simple thing. However, if you can truly accept it, I will give you countless hugs, as many as you want. Time flowed quietly, and night gradually fell. Valaka also noticed and asked, Master Pev, were you talking to the child just now? According to Pev's perception, the child Guinevere, who was told she didn't need to return the body, was gradually becoming more open. At least it seemed that way. Can you feel it, Guinevere? The importance of every step. Afterward, Pev smiled and replied to Valaka, yes, we just had a very pleasant conversation. Hearing this, Valaka breathed a sigh of relief, and he decided to put on a grand show as it was an indispensable part of any festival. He snapped his fingers and fireworks ascended into the sky, looking beautiful and eye-catching. Valaka likely exclaimed, what do you think, Guinevere? Amazing, isn't it? However, there are more surprises waiting for you, so don't leave the stands. Pev looked up at the brilliant fireworks and thought, the view from this observatory's launch site today is not bad either. The scene shifted to the next day at Valis' mansion. A large pile of documents sat on his desk. Valis was having a headache over it. He told himself, come on, you can handle these mundane contracts and paperwork yourself. Why should I be caught up in this? Then, his secretary's voice rang out. All matters related to contracts must be reported to me. You set yourself, Valaka. You've been absent for 33 hours, 26 minutes, and 49 seconds. Have you considered the ever-increasing workload during that time? So, now we desperately need someone else to manage and clean up the mess you left behind. Beside him, Pavel was drinking tea, fully aware that this would happen. Meanwhile, Valaka continued to make excuses. Because these are matters I can only entrust to you, Lanier. Hearing this, she felt tired. Please stop smiling, and don't try to change the subject. Handling restaurant reservations and payments is something anyone can do. Of course, I also had to handle the paperwork for your daughter's name. That concludes the introductions. The great elven mage, Ms. Pev Closer. I'm Mr. Walter's secretary, Lana Chamber. It's a pleasure to meet you. Upon meeting her, Pev felt that this person seemed intelligent and quick-witted. Then she replied, it seems you've already grasped the situation without needing me to explain. Yes, I'm aware you're impersonating my employer's daughter for your own personal gain. Since this is confidential information, I'll take care of you, Miss Pev. Do you have a moment? There's something a little amiss with your hair.